Hello and welcome to the RVK Newscast. My name is Valur Grettisson and I'm an editor-in-chief at the RVK magazine, of course. We're here in Hafnafjördur, the most beautiful town in the world, in my opinion, of course. You can't find a more beautiful day. Finally, we have a mild weather and everything, and it's absolutely lovely. I just wanted to show you something beautiful today. That doesn't really connect to anything that I'm going to talk about. Before we start, I just want to tell you about the Volcano is 1 year old, and I go a little bit into this in the end of the newscast, and we have a discount offer and so on. So stay tuned and you'll see it in the end. So that's, I'm going to show you this place here and tell you a little bit what's been happening in Iceland. So the news that really caught my eye today actually is about dental care. Not often that's interesting, right? We were actually having a fight about this, me, Josie and Art, if the dentists are still with the highest suicide rate of all occupations in the world. I don't believe that it's like that still anymore, but I have no idea, it's just a feeling. Yeah, these bridges are very dodgy, to be honest. But here's the thing. In Iceland, we have a pretty cheap or even a free healthcare when it comes to many things, especially when it comes to children. So when it comes to the children, we have almost free healthcare. It only costs 2,500 Icelandic krona to actually, that's the only fee you pay once a year for one child. If you have two children, it's 5,000 for example, like me, which have two sons. This is until, of course, you're 18 years old, and it's pretty brilliant. So you can go to whoever you want to go to, a dentist or whatever, and get a free dental care for your children. But the thing is that, it was in the news today that it was in the news today that 5,000 children in Iceland are not going to the dentist. Many of them are actually immigrants. And the thing is, the chairman of the dental association in Iceland was in an interview in Morgunblaðið today. And Morgunblaðið is the morning paper, it's the second biggest paper in Iceland. And she was saying that the reason was probably plainly that they don't know about this. So I want to tell you a little bit about this. It's really simple. You literally just call whoever you want to call when it comes to a dentist, whoever you like, and get an appointment. And this is nothing that you will be charged hundreds of thousands of kroner for or something like that. I know this is very different by countries, but it's very cheap and very accessible in Iceland. And the thing is, of course, it needs to be better education when it comes to this. What do you say? But it's not really, because Icelanders understand this completely, and we know everything about it, but like often with Icelanders, we are not that concerned about immigrants. So we want, of course, something to be happen, there need to be some kind of education about this, but it's not really. But also, portion of these children are also just children that have, well, bad parents. So, I mean, that's also in Iceland like everywhere else. And these children are, of course, missing a lot in their lives, not only dental health care. You think we can keep on going here? Should we at least try it? I might actually end up in a backyard here somewhere. These houses are, by the way, when I was growing up in this area, these were like sheds for sailors. You could always find a sailor with a pipe and sitting and repairing his boat or whatever he needed to do. But today, some of these houses are actually renovated as a home. Are you okay, Art? So we of course want people to know about this, and now you know, if you're an immigrant and you're watching this, then like don't be afraid of this. But when it comes to like making your teeth straight, some of that, those things, they are actually not included in the same thing. And the dentists are very unhappy about this. They say it's a violation of human rights, actually. They are very dramatic about it. But I agree, I have crooked teeth, and no shame, I actually like my teeth. They still work, but so it goes. Another news, and this is actually quite the game changer if this will be the decision. We have you know about Iceland and the liquor, basically. We have a liquor store. We just call it Vínbúðin, or the wine store. The official name of this body of the government is called ATVR, and it stands basically for Alcohol Tobacco Shop of the Government. This has been like this forever. Of course, Icelanders have a little bit complicated relationship with alcohol. We were quite the drunks once, I have to say. Beer wasn't legalized until in the end of the 80s. And the logic behind it was that we would become even more of an alcoholics. But of course, like always, the public knows better. And when they legalized the beer, we actually quit being alcoholics. So we stopped drinking this hard liquor, and we were like drinking Black Death. And when we wanted beer, we put like Pilsner with non-alcohol in it into like hard liquor, and we called it like a simulation of a beer. It was bad, trust me. It's the worst drink that you could ever get. But here's the thing, times are changing, and you can of course, you can order alcohol online. For example, if an Icelander ordered like a bottle of wine from France, it's no problem. But if I want to buy it from an Icelander online, it's illegal. The reason is that the Icelandic government has like a private patent for this selling alcohol in Iceland. Meaning that I can't sell alcohol. We can't sell alcohol in stores, for example, and that's the reason you can't like buy a six-pack in Bonus or wherever. Icelanders are very conservative about this. We have often spoken about it and debated about it. Should we legalize it, like have it in stores and so on? But the community of like people, like it doesn't really matter for Icelanders that much, and we want to be careful than not. One of the main purpose for this government store is basically for us not to have, fine, like Josie Moore, I see. So the thing is, of course, that part of this like government body is basically to make us not drink. So you can buy alcohol between 11 and like 6 every day, unless on Friday you can actually go until 7 o'clock in the night. But on Sundays it's closed, and you have to go to a specific store to do it. Not too much of a headache, you get used to it, especially if you live in Iceland. But if you need wine on Sunday, you won't get it, not that easily at least. So these two companies, they decided to sell alcohol online. And these companies, one of them actually is like basically France. Like it's based in France, but the owners and everything are Icelandic. So, of course, you hear now like they are going around the laws. They are, kind of. And what they do is that they have an online shop that you can buy alcohol. This government body, ATVR, they were so unhappy about it that they actually went against and sued them, went to court with this case, as well as another company called Bjórland, or Beerland, like bjorland.is. They sell beer, but the other company only sells wine. And what they did is that they said that they wanted retribution for the alcohol that they have sold, that they have like damaged somehow the store of ATVR, or Vínbúðin. And they also said that this was completely illegal because they have the private patent and you can't sell alcohol. That's very clear, actually. So when it comes to this case, the judges actually threw it out of court. And it was very clear. They said, first of all, we have clear laws about this. If they're breaking the laws, there are other government bodies that should actually prosecute that case. the store itself should, under no circumstances, go against these private individuals or companies and go so harshly against them. And therefore, the case was dismissed completely. So this means right now, at least if the law, like, if it stands like this, that means that we actually can now sell alcohol to Icelanders. For example, we actually sell alcohol in our online shop, but we can't sell it to Icelanders. We can sell it to you if you're in another country, it's no problem, but not to Icelanders. So it could be a huge game changer. But before, of course, we start celebrating too hard with beer and wine, the thing is, of course, that this case has been, of course, appealed to higher courts, and they want to see how it will go in the highest stage of the court. Nobody has pressed charges against these companies, meaning that, I mean, if this will stand, we can officially, like the private patent of the government of selling alcohol is kind of shattered, at least when it comes to online. And then it's just the next step is basically getting it into the stores. So foolish tourists want to buy like a six-pack of light beer and they don't understand, like, why am I not feeling anything from this? You always have to warn people, don't buy water in stores and don't buy beer there also. There are like specific places for this. So yeah, they're not quite out of the woods yet, of course. I mean, nobody knows, perhaps the prosecutor will actually go against them and try that case also. But when it comes to politics in Iceland, it doesn't seem to be very much of a... they're not that interested in this, to be honest. Everybody knows that this is like way too old and like it's flawed in so many ways, and everybody's kind of just like don't care. So like we just need to change these laws. But then again, of course, the community of Icelanders that do not drink are quite the strong lobbyists as well as like when it comes to welfare of children and so on. And Icelanders always put welfare of children quite high. We are very concerned about that. So we actually take often these ridiculous laws and like fine if it helps some child out there. This is, by the way, the golf course in Hafnafjördur. It's Keilir, like the mountain. I love this golf course. Of course, I grew up around here. I once saw a plane like go down in the ocean somewhere around here. It was actually quite interesting. I was a journalist at the time, and nobody was hurt, I think. Not that badly, at least. Yeah, and finally, one story. And this is, of course, this is pretty good and bad at the same time. There is a young woman, Vítalía Lazareva, I think her name is, Lazareva. She's an Icelander, a young one, like a child of immigrants. And she has pressed charges against these three quite powerful businessmen for sexual violence. This happened in 2020, and she told the nation about this in a very famous podcast called Eigin Konur. This is the podcast that Edda Falak has. And if you've been watching our magazine, Edda Falak was on the cover of our magazine in February, and is one of like the most remarkable activists that you can find in Iceland right now. Very impressive woman. And she gives victims like that a voice, basically, just to talk and a safe space. And then, like, Icelanders were quite shocked about this. Not only that, but all of these very powerful men, they were actually, they all stepped down from their positions. And just to give you, like, the context, like one of these guys are like has one of the biggest like parental company when it comes to healthcare companies in Iceland, and it's huge. He both owns it and he was the chairman, and he stepped down. And then there was another man which was in like another company. Anyways, these guys are like very powerful when it comes to business. So she pressed charges finally. This has been now in the discussion for a few months. This was revealed in beginning of January, and this is now official and will go its way through the courts, and it will be very interesting to see how this goes. This is very closely connected to this new wave of Me Too movement in Iceland. It has been very strong past months and is very much hawking all of our discussion right now, and is, in my opinion, a very healthy step forward, if you will. Actually, I like the Me Too revolution very much, and it's a very interesting and very good step forward. Also, finally, the volcano is 1 year old. It can walk, and if it would be a human, it could walk, and it could say mommy, I guess, or mama. So the volcano, of course, is not going off anymore. We probably have to wait for around 20 years after the next one. It might actually be next year. We have no idea, but hopefully the pressure is off and so on. But it's definitely interesting. The volcano there was a lot of memories connected to the volcanoes online last weekend. We also had we personally did a documentary actually about it, and it's still going on. We released the part 1. We're very proud of that actually, and I encourage you to check it out. There we tell I tell both me and more people. We're gonna tell our stories, like how we saw this, and a little bit just about the scene, what happened behind the scene. You didn't see, you only saw half of it. Yeah, right. No dogs. Well, there's always something. I don't know if it's the time or not. Let's stop here. So, but we're gonna visit the volcano hopefully in the end of the week. I'll show you it next week, just how it is and so on. Yeah, and we have an offer of 15% discount on all volcano-related products for 1 week until next Friday. Even the somewhat obscurely related items. These older episodes can be kind of hard to navigate on YouTube, but try to putting the episode number, for example, Grapevine Newscast, #85 in the search bar. The eruption starts in the 85th episode of ours and goes into 130. So you can also just, if you want to just watch it again, of course, and now is the time. You can watch these shows, and then you can check out our documentary. You can see these episodes. We were talking about the earthquakes and everything. It's often hilarious. I was laughing out loud when I was seeing when me and Art went close to Keilir with a bear and a Viking helmet, and we were trying to find the spot where we could perhaps erupt. Of course, we were completely wrong about all of this. So it goes, but it was hard to tell at the time. Yeah. So this is it for the newscast. Where do you want to go, Polly? You have to go to the cars. We can't go into the sea. Thanks for watching, of course. Remember our membership. It's always getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And like and subscribe. And if you don't want to miss our next volcano memoir, you can hit the bell button, and it will hopefully remind you when it's happening. So, thank you. Hi.